Good evening, everyone. I believe one of the most common problems that most Singaporeans are facing is that money often comes and goes in their lives, regardless how hard they try to save up. But, for example, towards the end of the month, a lot of people who live in Singapore will find that their saving will shrink and they are not able to um, spend money as freely as like during the beginning of the month. Um, in terms of parts, actually, right, some of us actually have these characteristics whereby we are not able to save up money. In terms of budget, there are two different types of wealth. One type of wealth is called the hidden wealth, whereas there are another type of wealth which is called exposed wealth. So, depending on what kind of budget chart you are having, you will be prone to either be able to save up a lot of money or will often experience the problems of not able to save up and money comes and goes in your life very often. So today's is Saturday and I don't intend to make today's lesson to be one that is very difficult to understand, but nonetheless I will still introduce to you some of the concepts within Bazi reading that can help you to understand whether you are someone who will be prone to having financial difficulties in life. Okay, so I will first turn on my tablet. Okay, let me try to share screen. Thank you very much for watching. And so, some of the things that we as a Bazi practitioner will look at when we analyze a person's Bazi chart, of course, is to first look at the day master of the person. The day master is the heavenly stamp of the day in which an individual is born in. So, day master basically, in layman term, is the date of birth. What we usually call 日主 in Chinese. And in terms of budget reading, whatever you have control over or whatever energy that you can suppress is actually your wealth. What you suppress uh, or occur is your wealth. So today's topics will introduce to you to the two types of wealth that can be found within someone's budget chart. Let's say this person is born with a Wu Earth Day Master. And if this person of branches of the Chen, then there will be hidden wealth. Because within Chen, there are hidden heavenly stamps, which are Kui, Mu, and followed by the Yi Wood. And this will be considered a hidden wealth for someone's budget chart. Okay, so let me also give you another example. If someone is born in the day of, for instance, um, Bing Fire, and then there is a branch of the Chou, because within Chou there are actually some hidden elements which are named, which are Bing, Mu, and Gen. So A person having a being fire day master, and there is another branch of the Chou, then this will be considered as the hidden wealth. So thank you very much, Mr. Stephen, for watching. All right, I didn't send out the link tonight because I hope to just do a casual sharing today. But this today's sharing will be very useful for people who want to check whether they have hidden wealth in their life or their wealth is actually one that is exposed. So which is better? Is it better to have hidden wealth or is it better to have exposed wealth? I will say it is actually better to have hidden wealth. Okay, so let me write this topic down. Which is better? Hidden wealth or exposed wealth? Which will be a better wealth energy within someone's birth chart? I will say from my experience, having hidden wealth is better because in terms of Bazi, there will always be a situation whereby exposed wealth can be stolen or can be robbed by other factors within the birth chart. For instance, let's say you're having a Wu Earth Day Master, and Kui, of course, is your, or let's say Ren. Ren is your exposed wealth. Exposed wealth are wealth that are found within the heavenly stems in case you are not sure what they are. Okay, so within a Bazi chart, they are often the heavenly stems and the earthly branches. All right. So let's say this person is of a Wu of Day Master, and within the heavenly stems, there are favorites. There are these rainwater as the indirect wealth at the heavenly stem. In terms of Bazi reading, this is actually being named as the exposed wealth. And usually people who have this exposed wealth, they will tend to appear to be affluent, to be wealthy. They usually would like to show to other people that they are well to do. But it is very dangerous to have exposed wealth within someone's Bazi chart. Let's say suddenly doing certain decade trend. Okay, let me erase this. Considering that within the decade trend, there is a certain appearance of the Ding. Ding is fire, obviously. But in terms of Bazi relationship, Ding and Ren will combine to form wood. So this person's wealth will so-called, this exposed wealth here, exposed wealth will kind of being transformed into another kind of ten god. What ten god is that? This can be the direct officer or the seven killing, which means by showing off wealth within his or her life, this person, especially if that is a weekday master, will experience dangers in life due to wealth. So actually, it's not a positive sign. There are various combination formations within Baozi chart, and if within the decade trend, certain heavenly stems appear and transform your wealth energy into something else, that is often a very negative sign. For instance, I had mentioned Ding Ren, right? If Ren is your wealth factor and Ding appear within your decade trend or even year, trend, then your exposed wealth will be transformed, and that will no longer be a form of wealth in your life. All right. So let's say you are having zinc metal as your exposed wealth. And when you enter the decade trend of being fire, then this will be transformed into water. And that is also a negative sign. It means that your wealth will, your exposed wealth will be transformed or so-called stolen or being robbed, okay, by some other people, etc. Okay, so just for learning purpose, I will write this down. This will be transformed to wood. Whereas being sinker will be transformed into water. Additionally, let's say if your wealth is Jia wood, when you encounter a decade trend of Zi earth, then this wood will, when combined with Zi, will become earth element. Therefore, this exposed wealth of Jia wood will also be kind of channeled into something else. Let me give you a quick example. Okay, for example, Mr. Stephen is of the gun day master that is strong. All right, Mr. Stephen, yours is a gunmetal day master that is strong, right? So what will be your wealth? Your wealth obviously will be the Jia wood. So you can actually open your birth chart and see whether you are experiencing the Jia wood decade trend or yearly trend. Perhaps I will just see if my handphone have battery. Yeah, I still have your birth chart with me. So perhaps I will just quickly open your birth chart. Or what's the last four digits of your phone number, Mr. Stephen? Yes, I remember your day master is actually a strong gunmetal day master. Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for watching. All right, 0543. So let's say using Mr. Stephen birth chart as an example. All right, Mr. Stephen actually. Okay, let me first kind of write down the entire birth chart belongs to Mr. Stephen. Mr. Stephen is someone who has a gunmetal day master, and actually their wealth, right? This yin is his wealth actually, and additionally he's having Wu Sun at the month pillar, Ding Mao at the year pillar, and additionally having Yi Yo at the hour pillar. So we can see there are two wealth within Mr. Stevens' birth chart. Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Stephen, for allowing me to use you as an example for teaching purposes. As we can observe from the chart, there are actually two wealth factors within Mr. Stephen's chart. One is at the hour pillar heavenly stamp, and the second one is at the day of brunch. Let's first focus on the Yi wood here. In terms of Yi wood, there will be a combination with Gun. Therefore, you have to observe whether this gunmetal will appear when in his decade trend or yearly trend, or even month, sometimes at the month heavenly stamps, and having this gun appearing one more time within his chart. What is the kind of problem that will appear in his life? It is a problem of his life partner running away. So this is something that we can observe. Additionally, we can see that the second factor, the wealth factor here, is being clashed by the sun metal here. Therefore, I will this is a problem that will happen in Mr. Stephen's life, that his previous relationship or previous marriage would end up in such a way whereby uh, the spouse would leave him for someone else, or they would have marital problems, arguments, quarrels, or conflicts within the marriage. Is that correct, Mr. Stephen? So this is also a problem of having exposed wealth. In terms of Bazi, exposed wealth is not so positive because it is very volatile. It is very prone to experience a lot of interactions or kind of so-called chemical reactions when wealth is appearing among the heavenly stems. So, Mr. Stephen, if you are okay to share, is this something that is this one of the major problems within your life in the past? So I received your reply, Mr. Stephen. Yes, my previous spouse story on 2018 where she cheated me, if you can remember. Yes, and that's the reason why. Because you are actually having an exposed wealth at your hourly heavenly stamp, which is Yi Wood. And Yi Wood is actually your direct wealth, which represents your wife. And whenever another gun appear in your life, that will bring about marital problems or marital issues. Kind of will be a sign of your wife running away or having extramarital affair. But currently, I got married last year and having financial problem, which is getting deeper actually. Yes, this is also because yours is an exposed wealth, and that is a usual problem for people who have exposed wealth within their heavenly stamp. Exposed wealth, right? Perhaps I should give you a better definition. Exposed wealth is wealth factor found at the heavenly stamp. In Chinese, sometimes we can call it the 财星显露. It means your wealth star is being shown or being exposed in a very obvious way, and a lot of problems for someone who have this kind of chart formation will be experience you will be experiencing a lot of marital issues or financial issues depending on where that wealth star is appearing within that person's life. Hello, Mr. Raymond. Thank you very much for watching. So I will say, how can we solve this problem? All right. So the main part is really solution, right? All of us know, we know 八字, we know 紫微斗数, but the intervention is always 风水. So for example, Mr. Stephen, who have this kind of birth chart of having an exposed wealth, right? Exposed wealth at the hourly heavenly stamp. And additionally, there's a clash within her marriage domain. Yin Shen, there's a Chong here. Yin Shen clashes is also another sign of divorce. So I will say this kind of problems is very much the chances of marital problems and financial problems would occur. Um, there's a very high chance for them to occur in Mr. Stephen's life. So how are we going to solve this problem? One of the things that we can do, of course, is to identify the area within our house that is representing peach blossom or representing marriage. There are two corners. One of the corners, of course, is if you are already having a spouse, the southwest. Okay, sorry. Say yes, it's the southwest. Okay. Is representing your wife, all right? If you are married, okay? So we have to make sure that the southwest of our house is always having a kind of positive feng shui arrangement. Positive feng shui. I'm not sure if Mr. Stephen currently is staying with your new wife. I believe Mr. Stephen, are you currently staying with your new wife, your second wife, within your house? Uh, or are you staying with her now in a new house, or is it an old house? Or Mr. Stephen, if you're still here, I will advise you to check on the southwest of your house. This is called Li Qi Feng Shui. Li Qi. Sorry. Li Qi Feng Shui, which are feng shui that is influenced by the celestial movements. And of course, there are another type of feng shui called Luan Tou. In terms of feng shui, Luan Tou will affect us 70% of the time, whereas Li Qi will influence us about 30% of the time. Luan Tou is the external environment, but most of the time, it is also something that we can't change. For example, you bought a house, right? Obviously, you can't shift the mountain to somewhere else or move the river to somewhere else, right? This is beyond our human capacity. Okay, so if your southwest is a sleeping room with your current wife, as long as the arrangement of your bed is okay in terms of feng shui, it's not facing any kind of sha. Okay, for example, there's no hen liang, that kind of sha, or no dirty objects over there, or no rubbish area over there, no washrooms over there, and the furnitures are being placed in such a way that is positive, that will say your relationship with your wife will be stable. Southeast is my working room and meditation room. Okay, your southeast is your working room and meditation room, but ultimately I will need to see your entire floor plan to judge, and also to know the main door facing of your unit to judge. But nonetheless, in terms of the big room, all right, as long as you arrange it properly, the any idea what facing is the head of your bed, Mr. Stephen? In terms of the big facing, any idea? My sleeping room Nick is facing loft. West is toilet. There is a toilet within your bedroom. Is that correct? If your leg is facing north, then your head should be facing south, right? Logically speaking, okay? So let's draw Mr. Stevens' big room. Okay, pardon my drawing, all right? I'm not very good in art. Okay, so given Mr. Stevens saying that the leg is facing the north and the head is facing the south, right? Should be facing the south because logically, your body is in a vertical kind of direction, right? So having the head facing the south, I will say is not auspicious arrangement for your birth chart because the south is of the fire element. all right? South is of the fire element. And within your birth chart, let's look at your birth chart again. Given that yours is a strong gunmetal day master, why I say that yours is a strong gunmetal day master? Because it is enhanced by the Yu here. Sun will eliminate Yin Ren here, and there's a hidden combination here, what we call An He, and this will also be turned into metal. Okay, so let me first introduce you the let me first introduce to you the concept of hidden combination. Sun and Mao. Why is there a combination here or a hidden combination here? All right. First of all, Sun is actually equivalent to Gun at the heavenly stem, whereby Yi is equivalent to Yi wood. And in terms of Bazi relationship, Yi Gen will combine to form metal. Therefore, we can see that your birth chart in terms of the strength of the day master, right? Additionally, there's a Wu of here, which is your resource. But this is an indirect resource because both of, right? Let me write it properly. This is an indirect resource because it is of yang in nature. Your gunmetal is also yang in nature. All right. So a bit a lot of theories on this chart being written down, but to summarize it, yours is a strong day master, and is fire and auspicious or in auspicious element for you. There's a channeling of energy within your birth chart whereby fire engender earth. Engender is a word for creating earth, all right, creating earth. And earth subsequently create metal. Okay, what I call engender or create, right? For easy understanding, I'll use the word create. Therefore, having the south direction may not be the best choice for you in terms of the sleeping position. So what will be a better choice? I will suggest to face east if possible, right? So try to change this position to be the east. Why? All right, try to face east. Because east is of the wood element, which is your direct and indirect wealth. And given that you are someone who have the exposed wealth within your Bazi chart, right? Your exposed wealth. This is your exposed wealth. All right. This exposed wealth. Okay. This is your exposed wealth. And your second wealth is being clashed by the sun metal here. You have a desperately to enhance the wealth factor within your life, which is wood. Wood, which is your what we call your cai xin. Okay, so if it is possible, you may try to change your base to say to face the east in the long run. But of course, this year the east is having the two black illness star. So really have to look at your entire floor plan to tell whether what kind of intervention you can do to move your big to face east at the same time being able to overcome the two black illness start. Ultimately, really need to observe your entire floor plan. But at the end of the day, please remember, in the long run, wood will still be a positive star for you. That's the reason why in the year 2022, you remarried. Am I right to say that was the second marriage in the year 2022? Is that correct, Mr. Stephen? Is your marriage? Yes, correct. Your second marriage was in the year 2022. Why is that so? In terms of Bazi reading, our wealth is also equivalent to our wife. Okay, remember that, because in ancient Chinese society, what a man control is often considered his wealth or his possession, and wife is being considered as the possession of the man. And in actual fact, in ancient Chinese society, rich men, wealthy men will have more than one wife. They can have up to, I don't know, as long as they are able to afford it, they can have 9 wives or 10 wives. Because wife in the ancient Chinese society is equals to wealth. So the more wealthy someone is, the more wives that person will have. And let's look at the year 2022. 2022, it is a year of 人 yin. 人 is water. Yin is wood. A year of water enhancing wood. Given that yours is a strong gunmetal day master, obviously you are able to remarry because your wood is strong in the year 2022. And in the year 2023, likewise, it is a year of 癸卯. 2023 is a year of 癸卯. Also water enhancing wood. Okay. So I will say, try to change the location of your bed. Of course, to be thorough in terms of analysis, your entire birth chart together with your house floor plan and the door facing must be analyzed together to derive interventional method in terms of feng shui. Yes, your wife should generate wealth for you, given your birth chart. But ultimately, it will be best to also first analyze the birth chart of your wife. So in terms of Bazi and feng shui, a lot of things have to be taken into consideration. It's not like just looking at your 12 animal zodiac, then you are able to come to a constructive intervention. In fact, all the people who are using the 12 animal zodiac is just using it as a form of marketing too. But my approach to Bazi and feng shui analysis and Zi Wei Dou Shu analysis is always a holistic one, looking at the issues within your life from various angles, from feng shui, from Bazi, from Zi Wei Dou Shu. And if necessary, I will also use your face reading, palms reading, Thai astrology, 奇门遁甲, etc. But in terms of 奇门遁甲, I will say it is not something that I will choose to use most often, because 奇门遁甲 actually will depend on the time in which the question is being asked. 奇门遁甲 believe that the moment you ask a question is actually very much like the birth chart of the question. 奇门遁甲 believe that everything has energy, even your thoughts, even the things that you're thinking within your mind has energy. And a question, if it has a kind of life energy, then the moment in which you ask your question, you are able to form a birth chart of the question and then to analyze subsequent information according to the 奇门遁甲 chart. it is a very interesting knowledge also, 奇门遁甲. But depending on who is asking the question and what time is asking the question, there can be variance in terms of the interpretation. Okay, for example, 奇门遁甲 will take into many kind of I Ching knowledge. Okay, and perhaps I will introduce you to some of the things related to 奇门遁甲. As you know, she doesn't have her exact birth date. That's the problem. Yes, that's exactly the problem. A lot of people who are born in countries like China, Vietnam, Thailand, and other um, countries, right? They usually they don't have their date and time of birth. And that's the reason why 奇门遁甲 can be used in such a case. If you don't have your date and time of birth, you can use 奇门遁甲 to perform a form of analysis. But you should find a practitioner who is well trained in this regard. Because how to ask the question and what time the question is being asked is very important. For example, in terms of 奇门遁甲, we also use various things such as 肯, which is of the water element, 坤, which is of the which is earth element, 震, which is of the wood element, 巽, which is of the wood element, all right, and 乾, which is of the metal element, and this is of the metal element. So all these are actually the logos or the Chinese wordings that you can find within 易经 the 八卦, all right, the 八卦. And subsequently, in terms of the 奇门遁甲 chart, you will use various things to plot the chart. For instance, you can use certain things like auspicious stars such as 子府, all right, which represents 贵人 or nobleman, or in promotion, representing promotion, representing kind of positive development. And we have also stars such as okay, 屯 says of the hidden enemies, right? All these are stars that you will find within 奇门遁甲 chart. Kind of struggles. Okay, all these within a 奇门遁甲 chart, and when you plot 奇门遁甲 chart phrase, okay, let me introduce you to some other stars first, because without foundation knowledge, you will not understand what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, for example, we also have the Tai Yin star, which represents woman, also noble people. And then there are stars such as Bai Hu, which is the white tiger. Is an inauspicious star, will represents injuries, fights, and also lawsuits. All right. Additionally, there are stars such as Liu He, which represents marriage, cooperation, and stars such as Shen Wu, which can represent theft and confusion, and astrology. Okay, Shen Wu can also represent astrology. So I'm just introducing you to some of the basic stars that you will find within a 奇门遁甲 birth chart to analyze your questions. For example, some people, they don't have their date and time of birth. And in such a case, we can actually use 奇门遁甲 to ask questions and to derive answer. But before you learn 奇门遁甲, you must be familiarized with the stars that will be shown within a 奇门遁甲 birth chart. Other stars that you will find are 九地. 九地 sometimes can mean being trapped or feeling depressed. Okay, there are another star that is called 九天, which is related to separation or migration, traveling. Okay, and followed by, all right, there are many dark stars, all right, so I don't want to drag this for too long. See whether I can show you a 奇门遁甲 birth chart. Not sure if I have one right here. See if I have able to find a 奇门遁甲 birth chart for you. Anyway, the 奇门遁甲 birth chart will look something like this, all right? All right, so let me quickly open a 奇门遁甲 birth chart for you. Let's say you are not able to find your wife's date and time of birth. And now you want to ask the question whether your marriage with her is a positive one. So using now as the date and time of birth of the question. So you have a 奇门遁甲 chart that looks something like this. All right. To quickly write, right, there are a lot of stars within the 奇门遁甲 chart. All right. So at this right now, the 奇门遁甲 that is plotted right now at this moment is having 子符, okay, at this 庚午, right? So I just quickly write down the stars. Okay, because there are many stars to write, so just give me a moment, all right? 相门天星, and then this is 辛夷, this is 九地, this is 修门, this is 秦, all right, this is 丙人. Okay, so I'm just writing down the stars within a 奇门遁甲 birth chart because for someone who don't have a date and time of birth, you can use 奇门遁甲 to ask questions. All right, just quickly writing down the stars. Won't take long. Okay, this is Wu, this is Ju Che, this is Kai Men, this is Tian Yin. Right? I know that all of you will be confused and don't know what I'm writing about, but this is a typical 奇门遁甲 chart, and it is plotted against the exact time when you ask a question. Because without a proper foundation knowledge of the meaning of the stars, you will not be able to understand what I'm writing. But just to give you an example on how we can use 奇门遁甲 to ask certain questions regarding our lives. Okay, so let's say we want to find out the relationship between the husband and wife, okay, of Mr. Stephen. Okay, for the analysis of husband and wife, okay, we can analyze the 庚 and the 乙 wood here. And we can see there's a 六合 right here and a 子符 right here. 庚, which actually represents Mr. Stephen's day master. And having 子符 here, it could mean that Mr. Stephen actually helped the wife a lot in the past. And when we look at the 六合 here, just now I mentioned, right, it represents marriage. So it is very interesting. The 奇门遁甲 chart is able to tell you that they are husband and wife due to the star Liu He here. I just mentioned earlier on that, all right, the Liu He represents marriage and cooperation. Okay, marriage and cooperation. And you can see this Liu He right at the domain that represents Mr. Stephen's wife. So let me ask you, Mr. Stephen, in the past, did you help your wife, and did you ever cooperate with her, or form kind of partnership with her in terms of business? Did you ever have such kind of experience with her in the past? May I ask? Because that is shown within the Qimendengja birth chart. The birth chart is referring to the birth of the question being asked. Because Qimendengja is often using the exact time in which the question is being asked. So can I ask you, Mr. Stephen, did you and your wife have any form of business partnership in the past? And of course, in which you are the main investor of the business. So if Mr. Stephen is still here, please feel free to answer me so that I can continue to explain more on your chart. Okay. Yes, Mr. Stephen. So please answer my question. Did you and your wife have some form of business partnership in the past? Oh, you went to the toilet. All right. So, Mr. Stephen, just to recap, all right, because you went to the toilet earlier on. So, what I was trying to do is that because your wife didn't have the date and time of birth, that's the reason why I have plotted a Qimendengja chart pertaining to your question of your how is your marriage with your wife. Okay, so my question now is whether you have some form of business partnership with your current wife. Okay, so let me take a look at Mr. Stephen answer. Yes, the massage shop, if you remember. Okay, so this is actually reflected within the Qimendengja birth chart. So Qimendengja is also very powerful and very accurate in terms of analysis, especially in terms of situation whereby the subject in question does not have his or her date and time of birth. In the case, Mr. Stephen's wife was born in Thailand, and due to some maybe some kind of inadequate time measuring device, in terms of that there wasn't any proper time measuring device in the past, the wife was not able to have her time of birth. Okay, so Mr. Stevens, second comment, we have sold the shop, but they are still pending payment of 70,000 baht, and the new owner threatened us to come our parents home. Okay, so let's take a look at your birth chart, Mr. Stephen. Can you see? I mean, this is a Qimendengja chart. Okay, let me correct myself. This is a Qimendengja chart. Is the birth chart of your question? There is actually a Shi Shen here. The Shi Shen actually means the god of death, and that's exactly what is happening to your business. Is it died? Your business shut down, and the business was closed due to the Shi Shen here, or I will say this is Shi Shen here, the god of death star, represented the closure of your business. All right, I believe I have wrote it. I have wrote it somewhere earlier on. Did I? Okay. Anyway, Shi Shen in terms of Qimen, okay, Qimen, this is the god of death. Therefore, when found within this domain that represents your relationship with your wife, first of all, you'll have some form of cooperation. So you'll have some form of business partnership in the past. represented by Liu He. I have mentioned earlier on that Liu He represents marriage and cooperation, and being paired with the god of death. That's the reason why your business have closed down. And I will say the business is away from your country of birth. Am I right to say that? Because Tian Chong, what did I mention just now? Tian Chong, this Tian Chong here. If you look at the meaning of Tian Chong, right, which I have written down earlier on, or I didn't write down, is it? Okay, anyway. Okay, just let me double check if I have write it down earlier on. Okay, anyway, Tian Chong equals to movement or travel. So am I right to say that this business that you have set up in the past is not in your country of birth? I hope I bother you too much till this day. I'm all right, Mr. Stephen. Today is Saturday, but I'm really uh trying to explain to you, right, in terms of 奇门遁甲, how you can use it to interpret your situation also, given that your wife doesn't have her date and time of birth. Yep. So, Mr. Stephen, your business was in Pattaya, which is not in your home country. Am I right? You are from Malaysia, right? Well, your business is in Pattaya. And that is exactly represented by Tian Chong. Because of this business, you have to travel. You have to conduct a lot of movements because of this business that have closed down. Am I right? Is that correct? Mr. Stephen, is that correct? Yes, it was sold after. Yes, fortunately, you are able to sell it off after getting the full talisman. Before that, you have difficulty selling the business. Am I right to say that? You actually experience a lot of struggle. That was represented by Shangwen here. Okay, this is you, and that is a Shangwen right here. Can you see there's this Shangwen right here? Okay, Shangwen actually means a form of damage. It means damage, financial difficulties, and what else does it represent? It can also represent destruction. So we can see 奇门遁甲 is likewise being able to use as a tool to analyze our situations in life. So at least now that your business is able to be sold off, otherwise you will incur more debts, all right, due to the operation of the business. So this is how we can look at our developments in life. Okay, but moving onwards, right? 人 here can represent your talents or your hard work. So through your ability and your hard work, later on there will be positive developments because of this 景文 here. And Tai Yin is also a nobleman star, as I mentioned before. So I believe if you are able to continue to work hard together with your wife, there will still be a positive future. Okay, so perhaps I will just explain to you. You are gun. Your output factor is 人, right? Because metal, this is metal, will produce water. And there are actually this Jingmen. Okay, Jingmen is a positive star in terms of 奇门遁甲. Jingmen actually represents good future prospect. And festive. And I have mentioned earlier on this Tai Yin here is also a nobleman star. And usually it's a female nobleman. Therefore, I believe that female nobleman could be your wife. So I will suggest you and your wife to continue to work hard and you will be able to improve your situations in the future, okay? So I have talked a lot about exposed wealth and also sidetrack to 奇门遁甲. Now let's talk about hidden wealth. Hidden wealth is very important for you to become very wealthy in life. For example, if you are being fire day master that is strong, and you are able to find hidden wealth of Chou, because within Chou there are various factors which are the Xing metal, Zi earth, and lastly the Kui water. So this thing here is actually the hidden wealth of being fire. So if you're able to analyze your birth chart and find that kind of storages within your birth chart, it is actually a very positive sign. Because to become a so-called multi-billionaire, most billionaire will have this kind of storage, wealth storage. Let me just give you a very quick example. Bill Gates. Okay, of course, now he's not that rich anymore, but he was still once the richest man on earth. Let me draw for you the Bill Gates birth chart. Okay, this is Bill Gates birth chart. Ren sitting on the storage of Shi. Right within Shi, there is a Mu, Xing, Ding, born in the month of Bing, Shi again. All right, and other storage in the year of Yi, Wei. And this is a wood storage. Wei, within Wei, there is Zi, Ding, Yi. So all these are his hidden wealth, right? One wood storage and enhancing another fire storage. And the hour of birth is Gen Xu. All right. Just to write down the name in case you don't know who this person is. This is Bill Gates. So we can see some people are basically just born rich. There's no reason. Okay. Perhaps a lot of people are as clever as Bill Gates. But are they able to enjoy the same kind of success of Bill Gates? They may not be able to enjoy the same level of wealth. Because to be very wealthy, basically you need a lot of wealth storage. And all these wealth storage or hidden wealth are found within Bill Gates' birth chart. Okay, there's no coincidence. Okay, let me check if I can identify any other chart with wealth storage. Okay, how about Jack Ma? Okay, even Jack Ma. Okay, even Jack Ma. Jack Ma 就是马云了哈。Even Jack Ma, right? This is Jack Ma, Ma Yun. He is also born with a wealth storage right at his day pillar of branch. Okay, so it is all not coincidence. It is all kind of that's predestined. Thus 有一句话，中文有一句话哈，对不对？ In terms of Chinese, there's a saying that goes 小富由俭。 节俭的俭，好像是俭对吧？好像是这样写哦。小富由俭，大富由天啊。Whether you are able to become very wealthy in this lifetime really is predestined. Some people are not very clever, they are not very good looking, but when they are able to enter into certain positive decade trends in their life, such as Jack Ma, then suddenly they will become very wealthy. But of course, when that positive decade trends pass, they will also suddenly experience downfall. Such like Jack Ma nowadays, we are not able to find Jack Ma. He suddenly just disappear because he has just entered into a very negative decade trend. I have made a case study on Jack Ma just a few days ago. You all can go back and take a look and find out more about his life. Mr. Raymond has a comment. So for Mr. Stephen, he needs to go into either wood or water elemental industry, which will be better. Yes, definitely, Mr. Raymond, you are very correct. It will be very suitable for him to go into industry that is related to wood or water. Of course, there are many industries that are related to wood and water that he can consider. For instance, okay, just let me quickly give you some example of wood and water industry. In terms of wood, okay, let's start with water. In terms of water, there are several industries that are very suitable. For example, shipping, um, logistics, tourism, imports, and exports. All these are related to water element. So basically, Mr. Stephen, you can consider something perhaps related to tourism, given that your wife is a Thai of Thai nationality, or you can consider import and export of Thai made products, or even logistics and shipping. All these are positive industries for you, Mr. Stephen. And in terms of wood, there are, of course, careers such as those related to gardening, related to agriculture. So you can explore to see if you can and your wife can grow some form of fruits in Thailand and sell it to Malaysia. That will be something that can bring about income, or even other kind of agricultural products or wood furniture. There are a lot of wood furnitures in Thailand, right? Both of you can also consider importing and exporting them. Selling of Thai food, I will say, honestly, not so suitable. I will say it's not so suitable. Because cooking is still of the fire elements. I mentioned earlier on that fire is not a very auspicious element for you. Other things that you can do is perhaps printing. Printing is related to the wood elements, selling of books and magazines. All these are of the wood elements, or even like that kind of incense paper, selling of incense papers. That is of the wood element also. So you can think or brainstorm along this line and see what are the things that you can do as the next step forward. And all these industries will be more suitable for you. So, so just to summarize, there are actually four storages. of wealth, okay, or simply call it wealth storages. They are the Chen, Xu, Chou, Wei. This is the water storage, okay, water storage. This is the fire storage. This is the metal storage. This is the earth and earth storage. This is the, okay, Xu is also the storage of earth, okay, storage of earth. Wealth Wei is the storage of wood. So if you want to know whether you will become extremely wealthy in this lifetime, I recommend that you take a look at your Bazi birth chart, determine the strength of your day master, and see if such storages are found within your earthly branches. If you're able to find these storages within your earthly branches, depending whether yours is a strong day master, of course, if it is a strong day master, basically you just have to follow the direct relationship of finding your appropriate wealth storage. And of course, you need to identify the key to open the storage, which I will. Actually, which I have already taught in previous videos. If you all can want to find out more, you all can go back to my previous videos. But if, okay, perhaps I will just quickly just mention it also, okay? 人生四害 are the keys to open the storages. 人 is for opening. 虚 生 is for opening. 成 shui is opening. 丑 high is for opening. Oh, okay. Let me repeat myself. Okay, let me repeat myself. 寅午戌, okay, which is correct. 亥卯未, 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 人生害, 人生是害, 生子神, okay. Suddenly it just slipped my mind, but never mind. I will be able to recall. 害子丑, Hoi is for opening the Hoi Ji. So Hoi. Okay, so let me just to repeat myself. Okay, these are the 4 keys for opening the storages. They are the fire storage, Ying Wu Xu, because it forms a fire combination formation. And 是由丑, this is a metal combination formation. Okay, therefore you can see this is the key. This is the key. Okay, 生子辰. Therefore, Shen is for opening Chen. Okay, this is a water combination formation. And followed by Hai Mao Wei. Hai Mao Wei. Okay, let me write it in the next page. Hai Mao Wei. And this is a wood combination formation. And Hai is being used to open the storage of Wei. Okay, so it's just that simple. And why we always want to have a combination? Because that is the strongest energy in terms of Bazi relationship. There are different types. There are 2 different types of combination. The first type is, of course, the Huiju. So whatever I mentioned earlier on is the Huiju. it will kind of like multiply the energy synergistically. Means, all right, this is not 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals to 3. This is 1 plus 1. Okay, 1. All right, let me, this is 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals to 7. Okay, let's say. Okay, so this is called the Hui Ju. It will multiply the energy. So if you want to have extremely great wealth in life, and if you are of a metal day master, then look for the way storage and use high to open this storage. Then you will be extremely rich. That's what I'm trying to say. And there's another Fangju, which is called the directional combination, such as 亥子丑寅卯辰 followed by 巳午未 and followed by 寅卯辰亥子丑巳午未申酉戌. Right, in terms of Bazi, there are a lot of things to remember. So really, if you want to do well in Bazi, do be mentally prepared that your mind would need to have a very good memory power. Okay, but for me, okay, to be honest, because I have to memorize things related to 八字、风水、奇门遁甲、紫微斗数, there are too many things to memorize. Because I'm not only studying one school of astrological reading, I have learned various schools. There are so many things to memorize. But somehow, after some time, it will just get into you. It will just goes into your memory. So all these are the directional combination formation, which are very, very, very strong. Okay. So this is like very much like 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals to 9 or something like that. Okay. The energy is very strong. So let's take a look at Mr. Raymond's comments. Anyways, to change the chart to have those wealth storage like Bill Gates or Jack Ma. I will say, yes, in terms of feng shui, there are methods to enhance your wealth storage energy. But I will not touch on that today because it will be another 1 hour of teaching. Okay, so but definitely, yes, there are various methods to improve wealth with 15 hour life through feng shui. And of course, you also have to look at the 9 flying stars energy of the year to be exact, to be precise in terms of feng shui intervention, and also to analyze your entire house layout, the facing, the 峦头风水, and also the 理气风水. As I mentioned, 理气will influence us 30%, whereas 峦头 will influence us about 70%. So you have to take these both factors into consideration when you want to carry out feng shui interventions that will increase wealth. Okay, that is something that will require a very holistic analysis, taking your date and time of birth into consideration, taking your floor plan into consideration, taking your house external environment into consideration, taking your interior design into consideration, taking the direction of your main door facing into consideration, taking the date of moving into your house into consideration. Because whether you have moved into your house within the 7 universal period, the 8 universal period, the 9 universal period, all of them will bring about different energies. For example, in terms of the 8 universal trend, the facing of south facing, sitting south and facing north is a direction of 旺财, 换丁不旺财. All right, let me translate it into English. Means, right, if your house was kind of you moved into your house before the year 2024, but of course, currently the 9 universal period energy are already present. So let's say if you move into your house in the year 2009, for instance, and your house facing is facing loft, sitting at the south, what we in Chinese call 坐午向子 or 坐南向北, then that will be a house that will be good for occupants but not good for wealth. In the sense that the occupants will be healthy, there will be increase in the number of people staying in the house, but the people in the house will not be able to enjoy wealth. 就是说，在中文里面说一个旺定不旺财的一个格局。But if you move into this house, for example, in the year 2025, then conversely become another condition whereby the house will be one that is 旺财不旺丁, means the occupants staying within the house will not experience positive health, but will be wealthy. So, in terms of the 9 universal period especially, there are no directions that can enhance both wealth and occupants. Therefore, illnesses will be commonplace. That's why we have COVID-19. Okay, it's true that people will continue to fall sick and easily due to various kind of respiratory disease, because the 9 universal period is of the 9 Li Gua. Li Gua means fire. Our lungs, our respiratory system is of the metal element. So it's very obvious that now we are facing one of the greatest problems in human history, which is the COVID-19. Thankfully, it is kind of now somewhat improving, but I will say this problem will not leave us. It will continue to bother us. Different forms of respiratory diseases will continue to attack us in the next 20 years. So this is just the beginning chapter of what is to come. COVID-19. In the future, there will be other form of illnesses that will affect us negatively. But what I'm trying to say, all right, to stop sidetracking, that if your facing is one that is sitting south, facing north, in the next 20 years, in the 9 universal period, it will be positive in terms of wealth, but not positive for health. 换财不旺丁的一个坐向了，就是这样子。所以呢，大概今天想说的东西就是这样多了。所 cover 的那个 topic 也是很大的，那个范围很大。有说到八字，有说到奇门遁甲，也有说到风水。Okay, there are a lot of things to learn in terms of Chinese metaphysics, but they are all beneficial knowledge for us. So when I free, I will just come by and share whatever I know, and hopefully all of us will pick up some knowledge and benefit our lives. And to also provide a kind of updates to what we are doing currently at the moment is that our Bazi intensive training course is going to start very soon in the month of April. So if you are interested to join, it is still open for registration. And currently, the student portal has already been set up. A lot of secret knowledge in terms of Bazi reading are hosted within this portal. Why I use the quotation? Because actually nothing is secret in Bazi. It's a matter of whether you are able to learn from the right sources, the accurate sources of knowledge. So perhaps I will just briefly let you have a preview of what is included in this portal. Okay, so if you go right into this is only accessible to my students. So there are actually a lot of knowledge within Bazi that you can find that can be found within this student portal. For example, this session is talking about water, right? One of the 5 elements, and there are various videos that will explain to you.
The water element parallels the season of winter and represents light time, the lofted direction, irregular shapes, and black and dark blue colors. It corresponds to the kidneys, bladder, and reproductive system. water element people reveal their strength in the dark of the night and are invigorated by their keen sense of hearing. The feng shui direction assigned to the water elements is love, which
So basically, there are a lot of study materials within the portal, both consisting of reading materials and also video. So if you are a learner that prefer to learn from visual aids, from listening to narration, listening to explanation, preferring to watch video, you have the video also. But if you are a learner who prefer to read, all the reading materials are also included into the student portal. And this is accessible only uh, to students who have signed up for the intensive budget analysis course. And I will upload new information and my personal insights in terms of budget reading onto this portal daily. And there is no time limit as to when I will stop uploading. I will always upload whatever I know is beneficial to my students. What differentiates from my way of teaching uh, from the rest that are the information that you can find over the internet is that over the internet there is infinite amount of information. But to be well versed in budget reading, what you really need is someone there to guide you and to tell you what is essential and what is not important. A lot of information in terms of budget reading, honestly speaking, is not so important or may not be able to provide you with an accurate forecast, such as the using of sensor, or what in English some people like to refer them to as the symbolic stars, because some of these techniques are basically shortcuts which will not provide you with accurate prediction. But of course, if you are interested in this kind of 12 animal zodiacs or stuff like that, very superficial knowledge, you don't have to subscribe for this course, okay? You can just go and watch other kind of practitioners. They have tons and tons of 12 animal zodiacs forecasts over the internet, okay? But my approach is always to provide my students with the information that is essential and necessary for an accurate prediction. Because there's no point of conducting a budget analysis if your method is not accurate. You are just wasting your own time and the time of the people you are analyzing for. What's the point of having 12 animal zodiacs? There are 9 billions of people on Earth, and we are all having one kind of 12 animal zodiac somehow. So can we say that destiny can only be divided into 12 different types? Common sense will tell you you can't. Because basing on the different time of birth, different date of birth, and even location of birth, you will be having a very different birth chart, which will lead to very different forecasts and developments in one's life. Additionally, you also have to take into account your location of birth. Some places of birth will have daylight saving, or like places like Singapore and Malaysia will have the official time adjusted due to political and social reasons and economical reasons in the past. Therefore, I will teach you all this essential knowledge within my student portal and through the Zoom session that I will conduct on a weekly basis with my students. And all these interactions with students will help my students to understand Bazi better. And if this is your desire to be someone who is able to decode your own life, then I will encourage you to sign up for this course. 孙子兵法说：知己知彼，百战百胜. If you are able to know yourself and to know your opponents well, then 100 battles fought, 100 battles won. That's according to a quote by the Sun Tzu Art of War. To have self-knowledge is very important. That's why we also have GPS. We also have DNA decoding nowadays. We also have weather forecast. So why not having a destiny forecast? This is something that ancient people have already developed over a few thousand years old. whereby weather forecast, DNA forecast, and even stock market forecast are all new inventions that have only been created for perhaps 10 to 20 years. But Bazi reading has been developed by ancient China, um, originated from, I don't know, perhaps from aliens. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. There's, of course, I Ching is something that was believed to be generated by the uh, an emperor in the past. OK， 周文王，他是看到那个海那个河的那个马，还有那个那个龟啊那个神龟，就after this Zhou emperor saw this horse this heavenly horse and the tortoise, he created this I Ching. I Ching actually was the root of Bazi. But how did this horse and this tortoise come about at the right time, at the right moment to be observed by this Zhou emperor? I don't know. Okay, those to stop sidetracking. All right. So if you are interested to learn Bazi and to know yourself better, this is a very good chance for you because I'm always here to reply any questions related to Bazi. I'm just a WhatsApp message away. I'm just a live session away. You are just in front of me right now, and I'm just in front of you. If you want to ask me any questions, I will be able to answer anytime. So you will have someone to guide you along to get the most out of Bazi reading to benefit your own life. So that's all I wish to share. Hopefully, your if even if you just want to learn it leisurely, I will say it is a very informative course. It will bring you a lot of benefits in your own life. How to identify the positive periods in life to invest, to get married, to have children, etc., etc. Okay, all this will be taught within the Bazi intensive training course. So thank you all for watching. Have been a very enjoyable night sharing my knowledge with you guys. Always a pleasure to share, and thank you all for always joining my live. Even today, I didn't share my link out. Right, just want to stay low profile and to be quiet about today's sharing. But there are still many viewers tonight, so thank you all for coming by and joining my live session. Okay, so thank you all, and if there are no more comments from any viewers, no more questions from any viewers, I will call it a day, and wishing all of you a beautiful Sunday tomorrow. I will see you all in the next live video. Good night.